Hello lovely people, Kitten here, and I'm bringing you this month's free knitting pattern. If you follow me, you will already know every month I do a free knitting pattern. If you don't follow me, then you need to be on the email list so you get your free pattern too. The little community is growing quite nicely. As it's summer, we're doing some bunting. Everybody does the pennant bunting. So what I'm giving you is star shapes. How pretty is that? Little patterns in it, beautiful. You can hang them as bunting on a string. You can hang them arm to arm. You can use them as coasters. And they'll, as always, there'll be extra tips and hints to take your pattern further when you get your download. So let's show you how to do it, shall we?
Down a little alley in the heart of Kendal town is a tiny independent yarn shop. Welcome to the wonderful world of the kitten and the goat.
We're going to look at stars and make star bunting. Everybody does pennants, and I'm going to do that for your technique. We're going to look at how to add some patterns to it. This is good. You can either put a loop on the top and put it on a string, so you've got a load like that, or you could just put a little stitch arm to arm, or you could draw a little face on it. Look, I've just noticed there's his arms, and there's his legs, and there's his little oh dear, what am I like? I thought we'd just have a little knit along and a natter, because it's not difficult. It's quite a quick, each individual one is quite a quick project, depends how long you want it. This is Wendy Supreme double knitting in blush. It's on the website if you want to get it. 4mm needles, of course. And the first thing we do is cast on 5. Always make sure your working thread is the one that you've pulled through, otherwise your tail will come off. Now come on you little monkey. Now we're going to cast 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. You may have to stop and pause and come back to it if we get somebody coming in, because some people get a bit picky about being filmed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there you go, one too many. Come on, you little monkey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are going to, I will not lie, we go straight into the pattern, and the first pattern row is a little bit tricky. Really got to hang on to it. So we're going to knit one, but we're not going to slip this stitch off the needle. We bring it, hang on to it, we bring that round, and then we're going to knit again. So you've created 3. That yarn forward is the bottom little eyelet hole at the bottom of the diamond pattern. So we're going to knit one. Personally, I find it easier to take that round the back, hang on to that, bring that forward, then come back again. That is purely my personal preference. I find that it gives the stitches more room. I'll show you the other way. So we've made 3. Otherwise you leave that there, you bring that forward, and I find it doesn't leave a lot of space. I find that quite tight, but that's me. Both ways achieve exactly the same thing. The most important thing to remember is to hang on to it like crazy while you're moving the points of the needle, because if it slips out, then you have to start all over again. So knit forward, knit another one. That's laid out your points of your star. So we are going to knit on the way back. When you're knitting, it locks in your yarn forward stitch, and it gives a bit of space so the stitches can settle and move, relax into their position, because you're asking a lot of them to stretch this far to make this round circular pattern, but do it flat. So this locks it in, lets everything settle and relax into place. Okay, that's just, you can't see it. You won't be, you'll be able to see it in a few rows. Now I just want to show you something. When I write a pattern like this, I write every row out. Some patterns you'll go and say, it'll say row 2, this and every alternate row knit. I don't do that. I actually name it all out. That's because you can take a peg or a hair clip or a grip, something slidey. Right, we've just done that row, we've just done the knit row, and you can put your peg to mark your place. We're going to do row 3, knit 1, yarn forward, knit 1, yarn forward, knit 1, 5 times. This is the very first stitch, row of your little diamond. So we're going to knit 1, hang on to it like crazy, yarn forward, knit 1, yarn forward, knit 1. Okay, that's a diamond. Knit 1, yarn forward, knit 1, yarn forward, knit 1, knit 1, yarn forward, knit 1, yarn forward, knit 1, knit 1, yarn forward, knit 1, yarn forward, knit 1. See? It's always reassuring when you get to the end of the row and you've got the right amount of stitches. That is such a blessing. Knit 1, yarn forward, knit 1, yarn forward, knit 1. It does get quite congested here because you're increasing so that it fans out, but you've only got a straight line to put it on. So the next line, we're just going to do it nice and plain. We're going to knit all the way along. And I thought summer tea parties when I started to think about this pattern, but it'd be equally pretty in a baby's room, wouldn't it? Or for Christmas, red, white and green classic Christmas colours, bit of gold sparkly in it. Not a textured yarn. If you'd put a textured yarn, you will lose all the interesting variations in the pattern. So a plain double, I don't think with the patterned yarn you will lose it too. A plain double knitting is the best for this kind of thing. Use all your scraps up, make pretty bunting. You can also do it in a chunky yarn, make drink coasters to match. How fun would that be for you? For your afternoon tea, bunting and tea coasters. I tell you what, do it in super chunky and make a placemat. Yeah, see? Value, great value. Here we go. Right, the next one is going to be yarn forward, knit 1, yarn forward, knit 3. So knit 1 is your border, yarn forward is your hole, 1, 2, 3, yarn forward, knit 1, right, knit 1, yarn forward, 1, 2, 3, yarn forward, knit 1. I do have a habit of pausing between each pattern. Sorry, I keep bumping this thing, don't I? I've got a new thing on order to film the clip it in. I'll show you when it arrives. I'm hoping it'll make filming a bit easier. 2, 3, yarn forward, knit 1, knit 1, yarn forward, 1, 2, 3, yarn forward, knit 1. Yeah, look at that. Knit 1, yarn forward, 1, 2, 3, yarn forward, knit 1. See, it's starting to get a bit congested because you're increasing 10 stitches. Every row that you increase, you're increasing 10 stitches. So we're just going to knit nicely along the back there, like that. There we go. It's quite nice doing a completely plain row after doing the little pattern. Very little sewing up on these things, and it depends how you want to sew them together. But there is a lot of tails to thread in, I'm afraid. But it doesn't take any pressure. It's not as if it's going to come apart. You can just thread the tail back through everything and leave it. You don't have to make a big song and dance about it. Now then, I might be able to see the pattern forming when we get back along here, because these are quite a few little rows. Now if you can't see it this pattern through, we should be able to see the pattern through after that. There we go. Now we're just going to get to the end here. Can we start seeing the pattern? Love it when a pattern starts to appear. Oh, not yet. Not yet. Next one. So we've done the 3, so then we're doing 5. We're doing knit 1, yarn forward. See, that's the yarn forward last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the yarn forward this time, and we're moving it outwards. Knit 1. You can see the 2 holes, so you can see where this is starting to become the border between them. Knit 1, yarn forward, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn forward, knit 1. Just remember that you have to do a knit 1 and not another yarn forward straight away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn forward, knit 1. Knit 1, yarn forward. Yeah, this looks good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn forward, knit 1, knit 1, yarn forward, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn forward. Excellent, wonderful. And then we just knit plain all the way back. For those of you that are just finding this by random on YouTube, can do the bulk of this just following me without the pattern. But if you want the pattern and you want your email to join the club and get a free pattern every month, then go to the website, put your name on the emailing list. I only send 2 emails a month. To be honest, apart from the Christmas Advent series, I don't intend on sending any more than 2 emails a month. It's too much for me. I am a lot better, thank you very much. You've been so kind. I'm still battling my way with the PIP stuff and the forms. I'm going to take that to Age UK to do. The guys in the council were absolutely wonderful. They've given me a council tax rebate, and they gave me a discretionary bonus as well to take me back to the beginning of the year, the financial year. So that's done and dusted and sorted. But we're still on with the PIP. That's the big next fly in the ointment that we have to tackle. But there you go. It'll be fine. We have to do these things, don't we? We've got to sort it out and get in the list and do these things. But I've been in bed all weekend, so I am a lot brighter. It does pay. I hate it. I get so bored sitting in bed, or well, not bed, sofa. Sit in my summer house in the sofa. But it really does pay off. Come Tuesday, I'm reasonably bright and bouncy. Lasts till about Thursday, and then we're back in the cycle again. Now, can we see our pattern yet? Perhaps when we get going a bit. So we did 5. Now we're going to do 7. Let's just see. Yarn forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There it is. Look, can you see? Let me do yarn forward, don't finish in the middle because you'll get confused. There's our little diamond coming. The yarn forwards are what makes these little gaps here. And when you knit one and then you knit another one together, it makes the solid bit up in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yarn forward. This would be an ideal little pattern to take out and about with you. There's a little, there it is coming, look. You don't need to, you know, it's no concentrating much. You can tell where you are if you keep marking your pattern. I mean, you could always put a little tick by each line if your marker gets knocked off in your bag. Take a ball of yarn, just plod along, and then do a few more. Hit 1 yarn forward. So where you're growing the stitches, you're putting the hole just before the hole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yarn forward, knit 1. Okay, so this is 7, then we're going to knit on the way back, then we're going to do knit 9 in the middle, knit on the way back, knit 11 in the middle. But I think you've got the general hang of what we're doing. So I'm going to do those few extra rows, and then I'm going to come back and show you how we're going to shape the points to finish, so that we finish the little star shapes. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. So we've done the knit 11. You can see the pattern in there. It's just being pulled tight because you've got so few stitches. Could you make them shorter? Yes, you could, absolutely. You could make one shorter, even 2 rows shorter, because when we're doing the points, which is the next bit, it's not counted. So you could do, could you go bigger? Possibly stretch a row. Yeah, you could possibly put another row on it. So I've done my knit, I've done all that. So we need to shape the points. And shaping the points is very, very simple. You don't have to count it apart from getting the number right to start with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, knit 15, turn the work round and work on just these stitches. Do I count my stitches to myself even if I'm alone? Yes, I do. It's almost like meditating. So, takes you can see it now, can't you? You can see the little diamond, you can see the pennant. It takes you, that's the bit in between, takes that whole point. Now, knit 1, knit 2 together, knit to last 3 stitches. So, oops, let's get that in the right place, shall we? Knit 1, knit 2 together, 1, 2. We don't have to count them. No, we don't have to count them because it's the same for every one. We just have to knit across to the last 3 stitches. There we go, and then we knit 2 together and we knit 1, and then we knit plain. So you're knitting on the way across the star and you're decreasing on the way out of it. So we're just going to go plain. You don't have to worry, you can soon see where the gap is to stop. So you don't have to worry, you're going to keep going because it's quite a distinctive little bump in there. If you're really worried you might keep going, then put yourself a little marker or something here so that you know not to go any further. Knit 1, knit 2 together, knit to the end. See, that's why I think you could do an extra row, bigger or smaller. It'd be fun actually to have slightly different sized stars on hangers, on lots of different threads hanging down. And we're going to plain knit into the star. Put yourself a button in the centre if you want to. Make yourself a little star, make a little heart. So say put a little heart on it. We did that, didn't we, with the selfish? There you go. See, it's quite distinctive where you're going to stop. And it gets easier because you're decreasing. It's always nice to decrease and you get a few stitches less on your row. Oh, got a bit of black fluff on it. It's just a bit of fluff off something. You can really see the pattern now. And we decrease on the way out. I would suggest you take a little mini breather in between points so that you don't get overloaded with what you're doing and forget which row is the knit row and which row is the decrease row. One disadvantage that I have in writing these patterns for you is that I get so used, by the time it gets to you, I've done it so many times that it's second nature, and I miss any little slip-ups that I've written because it's in my head and I'm doing it with my head. I'm not always concentrating and reading the pattern because my head sees what it should say and not the mistake I've made. So if you ever pick a mistake up, do let me know, because that's what it is. I don't ever write anything on the computer. Not like these modern patterns, I just bang it out on a computer. I actually sit and physically chart it out and design it out. And then I work and work and work and work until I can knock it into some sort of presentable shape that makes sense. And it makes sense for the person knitting it. It doesn't make sense in a pretty pattern way. You quite often find that it doesn't say what it would do if it was a computer written pattern, because I'm not concentrating on putting the repeats in the middle. I'm concentrating on putting the pattern where it's easiest to work through. This should be the last one, I think. 2, 3, 4, 5. Do we do an extra? Yes. So 5 stitches remain, and then do a knit row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to do this slightly differently. We're going to knit 2 together, knit 1, knit 2 together, keep it even, and then we're still going to knit those 3, 1, 2, 3 to keep the length, and then we're going to knit 3, all those 3 together. So we need to get that needle right the way through all 3 of them. Pull it through, pull it right the way through to finish. There you go. Isn't that fun? It's just incredibly fun to do that. Working that stitch gives it a soft pattern like that. So you work back through like that to finish it off, and then all you do is seam up the middle here to join it together. There will be a lot of tails of these, but you just tuck them in because it doesn't matter. Turn around, put your next 15 on, point, 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 point. Okay, my darlings? Well, I want to see your bunting in different colours for different things. I'll talk to you later. This little video is brought to you as part of our virtual knitting circle. If you join our email list, every month you will get a free knitting pattern pop through your email box. And that's it. You don't have to do any further action. You get a free pattern. I also upload on YouTube a little walkthrough of the pattern, various little tweaks, twiddles and things you might need to know to make it easier for you. And a fortnight later you get a technique video, usually builds on what we've just made, or it might be I discuss a design feature or something like that, just to build your knowledge bank and help you. If you want to go on and buy the kit, that's fantastic. It's all on the website. We have a website. If you want to buy yarns and wools from us, we'd be exceedingly grateful. We are a tiny little independent knitting shop doing the best to help you knit. See you soon. Hello lovely people, Kitten here, and I'm bringing you this month's free knitting pattern. If you follow me, you will already know every month I do a free knitting pattern. If you don't follow me, then you need to be on the email list so you get your free pattern too. The little community is growing quite nicely. As it's summer, we're doing some bunting. Everybody does the pennant bunting. So what I'm giving you is star shapes. How pretty is that? Little patterns in it, beautiful. You can hang them as bunting on a string. You can hang them arm to arm. You can use them as coasters. And they'll, as always, there'll be extra tips and hints to take your pattern further when you get your download. So let's show you how to do it, shall we? And you can stop.